Thank you, John and Helen. Parenting, like marriage, is one of the journeys most adults aren't trained for. Most people are trained academically and strive for academic and career growth on a very regular basis. But parenting is something that's learned on the job. And sometimes parents excel at it, but in a lot of cases, they simply have some wins and some fails. But they keep going, doing the best they can daily. So imagine adding parenting a child or children with special needs to the mix. All I can say is kudos to all the parents, and especially parents of special needs children. You're all superheroes. Thank you for everything you do for us. And with me to shed more light on what parenting a child with special needs looks like is Bukola Ayinde. Bukola is the founder of Diary of a Special Needs Mom initiative. She's a lawyer, an author, and an inclusion and equity advocate. Based on her experience as a mother of a special needs child, Bukola has become a voice for families who have children living with disabilities in Nigeria. She has published 5 books to promote disability awareness and inclusion and has written many articles in several national newspapers and online magazines. She has also produced 2 documentaries to promote disability inclusion in Nigeria, and her initiative, Diary of a Special Needs Mom, has sponsored special needs children in mainstream schools and trained and financially empowered mothers with special needs. Welcome, Bukola.
Thank you very much.
It really is an honor to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to delve right in. But first, can you please explain what made you decide to start the initiative, Diary of a Special Needs Mom?
All right. 8 years ago,
Okay.
I got my daughter's diagnosis. I was told she has cerebral palsy. Okay. And if 1 was the least affected, 5 was very severe. And I got a 5 for her. And it was as though my world crashed. And, you know, I went through different emotional turmoil, like depression. I didn't know what to do, running helter-skelter, looking for healing, looking for help. And at a point, because, I mean, on one hand in Nigeria, dealing with stigma, the other hand, you're trying to navigate the health center, therapy, school, family, friends, all the questions, what happened, what didn't happen. I said to myself I was going to relocate out of Nigeria.
Wow.
However, I was like, how do I want to live a single life with my daughter and my husband is in Nigeria? So we decided, my husband and I decided that, okay, let's live in Nigeria and make it work.
Okay.
You know, and which we did, you know, in unity, and we found peace, and our child is thriving. So after my own experience, as I was still navigating, and I'm still navigating my journey, you know, I decided to put my story out there, and I was writing daily about, I did a 30-day journal called 30 Days in Hungary. I took my daughter for therapy in Europe, and I was writing our experience daily. And a lot of women reached out to me, not really on Facebook, but my DMs. Oh, Bukola, I have a child too. I'm going through this. So I realized that, oh, I'm not alone. There's so many people out there who are going through this same journey, but who don't have the confidence, you know, to come out and say, oh, this is what I'm going through. So that was on one side. And secondly, I said to myself, if as an educated person, I'm going through these challenges, what about indigent mothers? How are they going through this? How are they, you know, able to navigate this? Then I decided to do my research, and I realized that it was not a walk in the park. So currently, you know, I mentor mothers who have children with special needs. And I also do advocacy, trying to put the right narrative out there, you know, that people with disability, children with disability, our first children, they didn't ask to come to the world this way. They have medical conditions, not spiritual issues. You know, so I preach love, I preach acceptance, I preach inclusion, I preach equity. You know, that's why I write storybooks.
Wow.
You know.
So wow, that's a lot to grapple with. But you said earlier about the stigma.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about the stigma around being a parent of a special needs child and being a special needs child?
Okay, so let me give you one story. When I was doing my research, I went to a public school in Mushe, and I wanted to understand, okay, do you have enough teachers to teach? And they said some of the teachers that come, that once they see that they've been posted to a school where children have disability, they ensure they are posted out.
Wow.
So one particular story, a pregnant woman was posted to the school, and when she got there, she busted into tears. In her own words, she said, "What have I done that you want these children to enter into my tummy and get exchanged?" You know, like there will be a spiritual exchange of the child in her womb, you know, to the child she's teaching. So that is the concept of, I don't even want to say uneducated Nigeria. That is the concept of disability in Africa. It's not just Nigeria. Because you have other countries in Africa that is still cut body parts. People that have hunchback, people that have albino, they use them for rituals. So that is the concept of disability. Something evil, something negative, something, you know, it's either the parents have done something, either you use the child for rituals, or in the religious sector, you have committed a sin. You know, somebody approached me one day, I mean, we're friends, and she said, "Are you sure you and your husband that you need to go before God, you need to ask for forgiveness of sins," you know? So we have the religious, we have the culture, and we have the moralistic, something is wrong with this. So all that comes with the stigma. Then because of that, that plays out all over. Nigeria is, I'm sorry, it's not an inclusive community.
There's nothing to be sorry about. That's a fact.
Nigeria is not an inclusive community. So, like, for example, my own daughter, who is using a wheelchair, she's only able to go to the big malls because with her wheelchair, which is wheelchair accessible.
Yes.
You know, because we don't think people with disability are supposed to be in our community, are supposed to be seen. So the schools are not accessible, the supermarkets are not accessible, you understand? It's only because some hospitals, you know, because they use wheelchair often, that's why they are accessible. That even some of hospitals are not accessible.
That's very true.
Airports have issues. So all these things goes to show that we don't expect people with disability to be seen. So how does this play out, Pharaoh? Most parents, not most, some parents end up leaving their children at home while they go out to be able to live a normal life. And not to be like, oh, this is, like someone said, they call her the mother of an idiot. Oh, yes.
Because her child is...
Yes, because her child has, you know, a visible disability, which in the Nigerian terms, like in Yoruba, we use like Ode. So they call her Mama Ode. Like, which is, in English, is written the mother of an idiot. You know, you have mothers who tell me that they find it hard to get accommodation. Once the landlord knows that, oh, this woman has a child with disability, one woman said, her landlord said she has a child, she has a snake for a child. So we still have all these thoughts, all these wrong beliefs, you know, which I strongly believe that we have to advocate more. And if, even in the churches, in religious places, because almost everyone in all sectors, you know, go to church, go to mosque, go somewhere, and if they can hear it on the pulpit that these are children, not from the pit of hell, they are children with medical conditions, you know, then there will be much love, there will be acceptance, you know, and there will be inclusion.
Wow. Wow. You know, at the beginning we had said special needs.
Yeah.
And now we're saying disability.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between special needs and disability?
Okay, so disability is a medical term which says that a person is unable to perform certain activities, you know, due to mental or physical impairment. right? Then special needs emanated from special education needs, which is
Okay.
called SEN in the educational sector.
Okay.
However, people began to see, disability as a derogatory word. And they felt, okay, let's call it special needs. Then some people say, oh, my child does not have special needs. It's additional needs. Oh, it's different needs, So to me, whether you call it disability, whether you call it special needs, the most important thing is that you give the child the right diagnosis and you ensure that you effect the right management for that child.
So essentially, they're the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. But for political correctness, now we tend to say special needs.
And some people will still tell you that it's not special needs.
It's a disability.
It's disability or additional needs, or so. I don't go into that.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the stigmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we then begin to break these stigmas?
Okay. So, the first thing, when I realized and I started hearing so many stories, I started writing in the dailies, and talking about, let's call it what it is. It is lack of information. Now, let me give you a scenario, a true story. There is this couple who felt, oh, this child is from the, the mystical world, and they took her to the herbalist, gave her, marks and everything. They live in an area of, let's say, not wealthy people, like poor or low-income people. And because of that, she said she kept hiding her child in the house, because she felt this was one area she didn't want to show the world that she had failed,
I see.
However, when she got into a support group and realized that, oh, she's not alone, then she saw people, women like her, who were from different economic sector, talking about their children. So she felt bold enough, and she began to talk about her children in those groups.
Okay.
Then one of the NGOs came to her area and celebrated her daughter's birthday in the community.
Wow.
Then she said she would dress her daughter well. She was no longer hiding her daughter. Then they could see, the way she was attracting positive press and they were doing things. Do you realize that after that incident, the community accepted that child?
Wow. So basically, it's
child
more
became a
about
star.
advocacy.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm now going to go to the parents.
Yes.
Yes. It can't be easy raising a child with special needs.
No, it's not.
So what tools do the parents need to have to be able to perform this job properly? It's not easy being a parent, and then a parent of a child with special needs. What tools do you think these parents need to have?
Okay, so like I always say, when you get your child's diagnosis, it's not the child that needs help. You are the one that needs help. Because before having your child, you have this dream of a perfect baby, the kind of clothes you buy, the kind of school the child will attend. So you already have your dream child and your dream future for the child. Then someone tells you that, your child is not perfect. Your child is going to have an incurable disorder. Your world turns around. And oftentimes, I also went into depression. Okay. Oftentimes, you are depressed, you can't take care of yourself, take care of a child, So when I say a parent needs to be socially and spiritually balanced, what I'm saying is that you all have to understand who you are, whatever in God, because people will tell you to do different things. They will tell you I've been told to put my daughter when she was a baby under fasting. Yes, that's why you have to say, you have to know your spirituality and be confident. You will hear all sorts of advice, all sorts of things. How God said in Deuteronomy that if you will do my word, I will bless your bread and water. I will take away diseases from you. So you have done something wrong. These kind of things affect you psychologically that you can't even, some parents can't even bear to look at their children. Wow. So you have to go for counseling. You have to find a support group. And we have so many support groups on social media today. We have the super parents, we have for autism.
I hear you, but
Yes.
what if you've talked about communities like Mushi?
Yes.
What if they don't have access to these support groups?
They do.
They do?
They do. So what we do with the support groups is, so even the people who are not, on the low economic sector, we'll tell them to reach out in their own community. So once you see a mother in your community, drag her and say, this is available, join this community, join this, because you can't do this journey alone, especially in Nigeria. In developed countries, you get help in your communities, right? Now, we have parents coming from Badagry to Igbobi to Lasut for therapy for their children.
Wow.
Yes. So what you find out is that once a child, for example, child that have disability, mobility disorder, we hardly have transportations that will take the wheelchair. So you find parents, mothers, not even fathers, mothers carrying 30-year-old children on their backs. You understand? So we don't have all this community support. So the mothers have to help themselves, in the different communities. So when you are able to get yourself to that place, and it's a process, it's a gradual process, it's not a one-day journey, then you can now give that strength to your child. I often say that in this journey, for you to go far, for you to be sane, for you not to fall under depression, you need to have thick skin, deaf ears, and a good sense of humor.
Thick
so that
skin,
when people
deaf ears, good sense of humor.
Yes, people will say all sorts. So when they say it, just say, it's out of ignorance. And you smile, In my house, we just smile. We are happy. If you see us, you will know, maybe we have a daughter with disability. Because we've accepted, because the first thing is acceptance. And that is usually hard to come by. Because what you want to do is to find a cure. So you go all over the world, if you have money, looking for a cure, And oftentimes, my friend said to me, she said, Buki, I went around the world looking for a cure that I didn't even find. I couldn't even have space for my other children. Wow. I couldn't even have a relationship with my husband. That it was the day she started no more that she started truly living, So when you come to that, and my own aha moment came when I almost had an accident.
Wow.
Yes, from going to a particular church to pray, and I was coming back in the rain, and I almost entered into a ditch. So when I got home, I had a brain reset, and I said, no more. So when you get to that place of no more, I'm going to face what is in front of me, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to be happy. A decision, intentionally living, and you are happy. That is when you can truly help your child.
Wow. It all sounds easy.
No, it's not easy.
But let me now paint a scenario for you.
Yes.
Maybe I was married.
Yes.
We have a child.
Yes.
Our child is severely disabled, like your child.
Yes.
Yeah. But whereas it was you and your husband.
Yes.
My husband decides that, you know what? He's not going to be able to deal with this.
Yes.
He exits the marriage.
Yes.
I become a single parent.
Yes.
So I'm now a freshly single parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a parent of a disabled child.
Yeah.
I'm probably a low to maybe average income earner.
Yeah.
I'm in a community that is not, like you've said, inclusive.
Yeah.
How do I get to a place of acceptance, a place of my aha moment? Mm-hmm. How do I really navigate through all of this in my current state of mind? Mm-hmm. Single parents, not a lot seems to be going right, and then I have a disabled child to look after.
Okay, so let me even paint it, make it worse with a true life story. She's in the university, and she got pregnant. And unfortunately, the child has cerebral palsy. And the boyfriend said, no, I can't deal with this. Her parents said, throw the child away. The boyfriend said, throw the child away. Now, she's from a low-income home. She's still a student. And she has a child with disability. So she had a lot to go to handle,
Yes.
you know. And so what did she do? Of course, it's despair. You're almost like giving up on life. But she said to herself, I'm not going to throw this child away. This child has come to me for a purpose. And she was able to join a support group because you can't do that journey alone. She was able to find a support group who, you know, mentored her. She was able to, because she's not even living in Lagos, she was able to find out other mothers who are in her vicinity. And through the support groups, she was able to get funding where she started her provision store, and she's also into catering while she is schooling.
Wow.
Oh yes, it's a rough journey. And most times when I speak with her, I encourage her not to give up.
Wow.
You know, it's
Wow.
each person's story is different.
So it's determination at the end of the day.
Exactly, and making up your mind fast and early. I always say that we will get to that aha moment at different times, but the earlier you do, for yourself, for your sanity, for your child, the better. Because we have different cases. In fact, today, a lot of men are jumping ship.
Because
Yes, and it still boils down to the stigma, to the beliefs that these children bring bad luck, and that the woman has brought bad luck to that family. So in some homes, you know, the men just jump ship. And the truth is that where I am today, you know, I will tell you my husband plays a major role.
wow.
Yes, if I didn't have peace in my home, there's no way I would run a foundation, because I'll be contending with my daughter as well.
Wow.
So it's because of my husband and I having that partnership, having a central goal of working to ensure that our daughter lives the best life possible, that I'm able to, you know, form a structure that works, a support system in my home that works for my child, that I'm able to help other mothers.
Wow, wow. So, okay. So I hear a lot of the things you're saying. Support structure, you and your husband have to be aligned.
Yes.
You have to be determined. You
Yeah.
have to come to a place of acceptance early.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's now go to raising the child. How do the parents raise the child to ensure that both parent and child do not end up with an entitlement mentality?
Okay, so I would say in some instances that I have seen, you know, I realize that a lot of people, or I would say some people with children with disability, already feels that the world owes me something. I have this child, and you people have to take care of this child. It happens, they'll come to NGOs and think, oh, just take this child off me, or give me money, you don't have a child with special needs and all that. And I usually say, it's either you're on this side of begging, or you're on this child of giving. So you have to decide. And I realize that it's all a mindset. It's all a mindset, because it's what the parents give the child that the child would give out eventually. What I'm saying is that if a parent doesn't have a mindset of this child is a liability, so let's just look for who can take care of the child. But if the parent is saying, fine, my child has a disability, but I'm going to do the best to ensure that this child, because has a level of, depending on the severity, has a level of independence, then they'll begin to drum it into the child early. And you realize that such children, when they grow up, they already have that mentality of, I have something that I can give to my world.
Wow.
But when you tell your child that you are a liability, and you find them, like maybe they have 4 children, because this also, I see this often, and they fall into maybe hard times, the first person they will take out of the school is the child that has disability. They'll say, this one, she's going to sit at home. What will this one? I can't. I've seen when mothers call me and say, my husband said he can't keep wasting money.
Wow.
So when the child is already growing up, hearing that I am a waste, I'm a liability, nothing can become of me, then of course the child will grow up with that mindset. So it's just what you give the child will bring out eventually.
Wow, wow. Okay, so we've run out of, there's a lot to cover here, and we can never have enough time. So just as we round up, can you just give me 5 key lessons, just words, that you would give a parent that is going through this journey?
Okay, so the first thing I always say is that God loves you. God loves you. It has happened to you, yes, and God loves you no matter who is telling you otherwise. You have to settle that, because I fought with that, you know. So settle that with yourself first, and God loves you. Doesn't matter whether you took a drug during or you tried to abort or something. God loves you. Now, secondly is love yourself. Because usually what you find is the blaming game. The husband is saying, if only you've not done this. Wife is saying, if only the nurse did not do this. So love yourself, forgive yourself. And number 3 is forgiveness. Forgive all the parties and those who daily hurt you. Because the more bitterness you hold in, the more aggression you push to your children, the people around you. Some people just release negative vibes just because they have a child with passionate. People tell me, Buki, you're very energetic, you're very passionate, because I'm trying to soak in love. So I'm releasing love. And people don't like me, people don't like my children, because you're giving out negative energy. So learn to forgive. You know, somebody's looking at you somehow. Why are you looking at me? No, if they knew better, they will act better. So number 3 is forgiveness.
Yes.
Forgive yourself, your spouse,
Everybody.
your child. Forgive God. Because most people hold God into, how can you? I've served you, I've loved you, I gave my tithes, and you gave me this child. You know, so forgive everybody so that you can be at peace. Then number 4 is this. In spite of having a child with special needs, you know, still have, you know, self-love and go after your dreams.
I see.
Go after your dreams, because that also brings bitterness. When you're just focused about your child and you're letting go of your life, you don't have a life, you don't have dreams, you don't have purpose. And finally, you know, I would say love and accept your child. That is when you start finding healing.
Thank you so much. This has been really enlightening.
Thank you.
And I hope it has impacted some people, because this is a topic that we need to be talking more about. So thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to have this conversation with you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, so John, Helen, and myself will round up the show very quickly. So please stay tuned whilst we round up the show. Thank you.